Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And even though we don't get very political on this channel, we're going to get kind of political in this video because it does affect pop culture. Basically, the media and Hollywood are in for a very rude awakening this year.
Yes.
We've been following this for a while. We've actually been doing these kinds of videos for about 3 years now, talking about how out of touch mainstream media is and how out of touch Hollywood and publishers, New York publishers, and Portland comic book publishers are, and we're seeing it in real time.
Well, they clearly keep making decisions that make no sense financially. But beyond that, it's like, I don't know if the media's out of touch so much as they're trying to spin the narrative and trying to spin the opinion, but a lot of people on Twitter are really shocked by the fact that right now it's a very close race. We don't know who's gonna win, and even whoever wins is gonna be just eking it out by a small amount. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. How does this happen? It's like, because maybe if you didn't effing block anyone who had a different opinion than you and didn't just listen to your effing echo chamber, you'd know that the majority of people, which we've been saying, are in the middle.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that and whether or not Hollywood and the media will finally realize that, it's not the rest of us versus a small number of white supremacists and alt-right Yahtzees, that there are actually, legit Trump supporters from all across America, all different walks of life, and that they've been demonizing conservatives for years, much to their financial destruction, basically. And will they continue doing that with Hollywood being in such a bad state right now?
Well, what's even funnier though is they did a poll on some different news networks, and they were asking people like, okay, for those of you that voted Trump, why did you vote Trump? And the big majority of them voted Trump because they actually support Trump. When they asked people why they voted Biden, a huge amount of them voted Biden because he wasn't Trump. It wasn't because they liked Biden and his policies. It had nothing to do with your far leftist views and socialism. It was because he wasn't Trump.
Yeah, so that was an interesting conversation I had on Twitter now on my personal account with a friend of mine. I've actually known this guy. He works in comics. I've known him for years, and we had a discussion, and he was kind of...
Was this a friend in quotes that he was your friend before, but he hasn't talked to you lately because...
No. He's talked. He's
okay,
talked
he's
lately.
one. He's not. He's not
we've
one
got
of
a lot of those too.
We got those too. So I was trying to clarify which friend it was.
But I kind of went radio silent on my personal Twitter because I do follow and interact with a lot of comic book people, and I haven't so much since... we started Clownfish TV.
Yeah, they all blocked you because you dare ask questions they don't like. Fair questions.
Yeah, a lot of them did. And I basically said, look, I'm not taking sides here, but it's going to be kind of a rude awakening for people to see that America isn't quite what you thought it was, and that the division in America it's not divided along the racial lines that people seem to think it is, and that there are a lot more conservatives in America than Hollywood or the media want to admit.
You mean mainstream America isn't just Twitter? And the far leftists on Twitter, which we keep saying when Disney makes the dumb decisions, we're like, you understand, right? The people you're pandering to are a small, tiny percent. The extremes on both ends are very tiny percent of what makes up most of the country. We keep telling you this.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to listen because, look, so many media outlets were blindsided by Trump doing so well. It was supposed to be the story we were told. It was in the bag. It was going to be a blue wave. Everybody wants Orange Man gone. It's all just a bunch of, white supremacist, alt-right Yahtzees. They're going to vote Trump out. It's going to be a slam dunk, and we're going to go back to business as usual. And it didn't happen that way. It actually got scarily close last night to it being tipped in Trump's favor.
Right. And I think a lot of it comes down to, the economy and socialism. I'm just going to say it. I think a lot of people do not want socialism. I know a lot of these media people do because they want to sit at home and get paid to write their more than $5 to write their articles, and the bloggers and be the influencers on their pedestal to tell everybody how wrong they are and call them ists and phobes. And a lot of people are like, I'm not working my ass off for you to go sit on your butt and write articles telling everybody they're ists and phobes.
Right. And that was the conversation I had with this friend. I said, look, it's not even about people liking the candidates in particular.
Yeah, I didn't like either one.
It's Trump versus not Trump and socialism versus not socialism.
Yes.
That's what this election is about. And we're starting to see where America really is.
In the middle.
In the middle.
Where we said America really was many, many, many times over the past 4 years.
Right. So Hollywood's in for a very rude awakening. We've got major layoffs coming in Hollywood. Again, I mean, the entertainment industry is in shambles, and what would help the entertainment industry, the publishing industry, the media, is if they could appeal to as many people as possible. But instead, what we've seen is, as they're burning down, they're actually doubling down, tripling down on politics, identity politics, literally hiring one of the BLM co-founders for a big fat deal at Warner Brothers. And, thinking that, I think preemptively they thought, well, it's going to be Biden, everything's going to come up blue, and this is what people are going to want. And now, because that's what they've been told for months, right up to the election, and now they're going to have to look at it like, shit.
Well, it doesn't matter who wins. This proves that America is split pretty much in the middle.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's extremists on both sides, but the vast majority of Americans are more alike than they are different, and they're in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it comes down to. And they can't be constantly trying to leverage, Twitter and or certain voices over others, because you're just turning people against you. And you need to try to tone it down and come to a more moderate, stance on this stuff. Which remember when extremism was bad and extremists were bad, but then they were saying for the last couple of years, well, if you're moderate, you're the problem. It can't be the extremists that are them. No, it's the moderates. Well, the moderate America just gave you all the middle finger and caused the division right down the middle.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of the reactions on Twitter that people have been sending. I mean, you would think if Biden wins, you would think that'd be enough. But for some people, especially in Hollywood, especially in comics and, the media, it's not enough, because they're legitimately scared that not everyone thinks like them. Again, they've been in this Twitter echo chamber.
Right, this is it. You put yourself in an echo chamber. Of course, you're not going to hear anybody else's voices but your own.
Right. And, they're surrounded by people in LA. They're surrounded by people in Portland and in New York City. And of course, those are very far left, strongholds. But when you get out to middle America, you are going to find that people are all over the place politically. And there's a lot of nuance there too. Like I said, you might have people be casting a vote for Trump that maybe don't like Trump, but he's the lesser of two evils in their mind.
Or vice versa.
So it's all over the place. And it hopefully the media takes notice. I doubt they will.
I just love for the left's progressiveness. It came down to two old rich white men yet again. But we're so progressive. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. If Biden wins, it's not going to be Biden for long. He'll be out somehow, and it'll be Harris. Well, that's what's going to happen. We all know it.
I think that's what scares some people. And they had Harris, 2 days before the election, put up some little cartoon, basically flat out endorsing socialism.
People don't want socialism. And a lot of people who have been from countries, they fled over here to escape socialism and communism, voted against this because they don't want to. Why the hell would I come here just to go back to it?
Yeah.
It's anti what America's been.
Well, and there's already pushback against. We'll talk about who's actually voting for Trump. These were voices that were ignored for the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, the story we have been told that the media in Hollywood has been telling us.
The story the media spun to try to sway people to vote the way they wanted to. I'm just going to be called like it is, because no one is buying for 1 minute the media and social media, as we've seen, do not have biases politically.
The story we have been told is that it's a bunch of uneducated white hillbilly racist closet neo-Yazis, that they took control, and this was just a fluke that it was going to pass, and this isn't actually America. It's not representative of America. Now we're seeing more people coming out in support of Trump.
Well, I like when you use the term Yahtzees, because there's been a lot of behavior on a certain group of people, and they're the ones who are acting like Yahtzees, and it's not the people that they're yelling about.
So we have this happened, this article dropped last night, I think, coming from NBC. The Trump vote is rising among blacks and Hispanics, despite the conventional wisdom.
Don't use the word wisdom. There hasn't been any wisdom, but despite the conventional spin. Right. Is what I would say. It's not been about wisdom. It's never been. The media clearly has had a bias. They are in their own damn echo chamber. Some of these writers honestly believe this because that's all they allow themselves to hear.
So they've got perceptions of Trump as a racist seem to be a driving force pushing whites away. Yeah, because a lot of people are like, we're not going to publicly, and they said about the what do they call it, the silent Trump voters, the shy Trump voters, because in this day and age, if you wear a MAGA hat in public, you could get punched in the face. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've
spit on, people attack your
stabbed,
kids,
whatever. So people are going to do that, but instead they're going to go to the
But
ballot.
that very behavior is what's turning so many people to Trump. A lot of people don't really like Trump that much either, but they're voting for Trump because it's against what we've been seeing the last few months. It's against all that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be honest with you, because people are sick of it. They're sick of the shit. They're sick of the being held hostage. They're sick of the threats. And all you've done, which we said many times, is just turn people against you to vote for Trump, even if they don't like Trump, because they're sick of your shit.
So the big shock last night watching this is the disappointment. The disappointment when people realized they lost Florida because of the Hispanic vote.
I'm not surprised.
Hispanics came out and drove.
He said it's Cubans
Trump.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why the hell would they want to go back to that when they escaped it?
Yeah, they're not gonna vote for communists, And I can tell you, as again somebody who spent part of my childhood in California, and some of my family, half my family is Latino. Latinos, a lot of them are pretty conservative. They are. So this is.
Oh yeah, your stepdad's like super conservative.
Oh god, yeah. That whole side of the family is like. I mean, we have gotten in fights about stuff, but they're super conservative. But that is something. They're basically the spin has been. It's a bunch of awful white men that are they got hoods in their closet, and they are. They're oppressing all the black folks and all the Hispanic folks and all the LGBTQ folks. And it turns out that that's not exactly the story. So hypothetically speaking, regardless of who wins, is the media and is Hollywood going to spend the next 4 or 5 years calling all of these people white supremacists,
Probably.
Yahtzee, racist?
Well, they always said, if you are a person that is not white, straight, or male, and you don't agree with them in the media, they have gone out of their way to either say you're internalized istrophobe, or they completely step over you and ignore you completely.
Yeah.
They just ignore you and keep going with their narrative and then hope that they have enough. If they keep saying it long enough, it becomes true. Because here's the thing. The truth's the truth, whether you like it or not. And just because you repeat a lie enough times, it does not make it the truth. And Hollywood and the media and extremist Twitter don't seem to understand that. Just because you repeat a lie over and over doesn't make it true.
This is coming from mainstream media outlets. This is coming from a bunch of blue checks on Twitter, too. They're going to have to stop using this whole only the white supremacists got Trump in and blah, 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 blah. Here we got Washington Examiner. Preliminary data shows Trump wins highest share of non-white votes for the GOP in 60 years. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, I saw a whole bunch of ads running on Facebook that were like students or something, and they were doing students for Trump or something, and it was a lot of black students and black people doing videos and talking about the racist comments Biden has said and different things, and they were sending it out to everybody, and it wasn't, this whole idea that's only white male hillbillies is ridiculous.
So here we had Vox, which is a very far left publication. 46% of Vietnamese Americans say they're voting for Trump. Are these guys alt-right Yahtzees? Or
yeah, let's see, the real lesson. Don't ever tell communist refugees that socialism is the future of America. That's what I'm telling you. That is the problem. People do not want communism. The vast majority of people who want communism are usually, the white people over in, like you said, Portland and California who just want to sit on their ass and write articles and get paid for it and get paid to I've literally seen people say, I want to draw my comics and get paid. I want socialism. So I have healthcare and stuff, and I get paid just to sit at home and draw my comics.
That's another video. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that whole mentality too. I am going to bring up some tweets from a couple of comic book people, and again, I don't want any of these people to contact any of them. I don't want you to harass anybody, but just to show where
the mindset is
right now. And I have to give a hat tip to Black Sage D, who actually sent me a bunch of these tweets. And if you didn't guess, Black Sage D,
I was gonna say
not white, but he's been sending me these tweets, and he's like, you won't believe what's actually going on. And as people who follow this, and we've been following this for years.
In the middle, so we've been looking at both sides, listening to both sides, have friends on both sides, guys. That's why we've said what we've said for all these months.
We've gotten in fights with people before because we're like, guys, Hollywood, media, comic book artists, animation people. Your little bubble in LA or Portland or New York is not the rest of the country.
Not representative. We keep saying it. And something else we keep saying too, they keep accusing us of being far right, and we're not. And then they also accuse us of being like, our followers are just, haters and white supremacists and all that. Most of our followers, I think you'll find, are not white, straight, or male.
Yeah, we have a lot of, I mean, look, just off the top of my head, I can think we got a lot of our biggest supporters. Black folks, we got gay folks, we got a lot of Hispanic followers.
Yeah, imagine that. Reason is for everyone. It's not just like, oh, you're being reasonable. How dare you? Because they're so ingrained in this whole idea that they are right and that everybody is telling them they're right. And they're only hearing one kind of voice because people are afraid to stand up to them. And then they get in their head that, oh, it's going to be a landslide because everybody thinks this way. And it's like, no. And if you pulled your head out of your ass and you went out and tried to talk to people and be in the middle and not try to be so combative and blocking everybody that didn't agree with you, you would have found when you talk to people, the vast majority of people are in the middle, which is what we keep telling you.
Yeah, so here's another one he sent me. This is coming from Charles Blow, who is a New York Times columnist and also an author, 600 and some thousand followers. This is so personally devastating to me. The black male vote for Trump increased from 13% in 2016 to 18% this year. The black female vote for Trump doubled from 4% to 8% this year.
Maybe people are tired of being used as shields.
Maybe. Also, the percentage of LGBT voting for Trump doubled from 2016. Doubled. This is why LGBT people of color don't trust the white gays.
Are you
yes,
serious?
I said what I said, period.
Wow. Okay, yes, but let me remind you, it's just far right white Yahtzees that are racist.
Okay, this is the most batshit thing he said. Also, the percentage of Latinos and Asians voting for Trump increased from 2016, according to exit polls. Yet more evidence we can't depend on the browning of America to dismantle white supremacy and erase anti-blackness. You just got done saying more black people are voting for Trump. You just got done saying more non-white people are voting for Trump. And you want to dismantle. Where's the white supremacy if they're?
That's just what I'm saying. They keep spinning this. You remember a few years ago when you could look at people and your race didn't even dawn on you because you weren't looking at race, you're looking at people. And then because the media and because of bullshit like this and because of these movements, then everybody is basically everything based on race. And you have to catch yourself to be like, okay, I don't want to even look at people as race. I'm looking at them as people. But because of Twitter, you're in trouble if you even do that. Well, you need to be segregating people on race. You need to look at them because of their race. And I'm sorry, people get mad when people say all lives matter, but I mean, I never thought black lives didn't matter. I never thought Asian lives didn't matter. I always thought that everybody mattered, and I never looked at it any other way. I don't need Twitter to tell me I'm a hater if I didn't think about that, because to me, everybody mattered and I didn't care. And I'll say it, like I said, we don't care what race you are, what gender you are, what sexual orientation you are, what religion you are, any of that shit. We don't care. That doesn't matter to us. Are you an asshole? That's what we care about.
Yeah. So again, though, this shows like how myopic these people are. Again, this guy's New York Times. He's in New York.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
He's on Twitter all the time. And then we've got people down here, as a white woman.
Twitter all the time sums it all up.
As a white woman, I don't understand how anyone can vote for Trump. Because you don't get out much.
Because when I'm looking at it, I don't like either one. I've said this a billion times.
I thought it was a no-win.
It's a no-win situation, honestly. People we did like, got sabotaged, like Tulsi Gabbard got sabotaged by Harris. And stuff. People we liked, Chang or Yang, they all got sabotaged, and it's bullshit. And I would have voted for these people. But I will not vote. I don't like these people. I'm sorry, I just don't like either one. However, that being said, this whole idea that one's good and one's bad and one's not racist and one is and everything else, when you go look at the history, you're finding out Biden did a lot of shit that was pretty damn racist. And then I can't imagine in my mind why anybody would vote for him based on the fact of all the racism. And I can't think in my mind why anybody would vote for Trump because some of the stuff he says is just plain like, what the hell? Why would you say that?
Again,
I'm just like, why?
I think this particular election, again, I don't think it's coming down. There are people who are huge fans of either candidate, right? But I think for the middle, for the most part, it's basically coming down to
who's going to do the least damage?
Trump or socialism.
That's pretty much what it is.
That's basically, can we hold our nose and vote for Trump to avoid socialism, or is it more important to us just to get Trump out of office?
Right.
And push the Portland agenda or whatever. That's what it's coming down to. But, again, these people were just completely blindsided. And we have been telling you, don't contact any of these people. This is Ryan Somer. He's a comics guy, but they had a conversation last night, and they're basically like, we don't understand what happened. Well, it's not the blowout we wanted. Half the country is lost.
Oh, wait, because they don't agree with you. Half the country's lost because they don't agree with you. That's a load of shit. You know what?
Emotional support Canadians. What?
Oh my God. They literally had commercials that if you have election anxiety, like you can't get out of bed and stuff. I'm like, really? I mean, I'm sure it's a real thing for some people, but I'm just like, if you're that invested, then you know what? I don't know what to tell you. But it's just like, I'm so sick of this shit. Again, like, I can't believe this. I totally can believe it. I actually, I'm not surprised by it at all. Are you surprised by it at all?
Not at all. In fact,
we've been saying it.
When they started having these predictions come in, because, again, we talked to a lot of people, both in urban areas, and I would say if there is a divide, okay, armchair opinion, if there's a divide, it's between urban America and rural America, the middle class and the elites, I would say, or you've got people in urban areas that aren't elite, but there is a different mindset. And I think it's the fact is that most of the people that are on Twitter, most of the people that are, in the media, most of the people that work in Hollywood and publishing and all of that, they're in these urban areas. They don't talk to people in middle America. They're the flyover states. Most of America is not where you think they are. And we talked to people from all over the place, and we're like, no, this isn't what you think. You think just because you and your friends are all like, let's get this orange man out of here.
I'm talking on both sides. Same with the extreme right people that block everybody who doesn't agree with them. There's an echo chamber that Trump had a slam dunk on that side too. Because these people who refuse to look at any other position other than their own only can see what they want to see. And that doesn't, and just because you want to believe it doesn't make it true, which is what we keep telling you.
And they don't want to listen. Hollywood doesn't want to listen. The media doesn't want to listen. They think because they print it, they think because they publish it, they think because they make movies featuring certain themes or whatever, that's going to appeal to America. And what's going to happen is the more polarized we become as a country, you can kiss half your audience goodbye.
Well, that's just it. I can tell you right now, I think, had they not gone out and if we hadn't seen some of the bad behavior we saw, we had not seen some of the, the way the media had done and things like that, I think Biden would have won in a lot more of a lead. But people are just sick and tired of being told that, they have to think a certain way or they're istophobes.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, because people are just tired of it.
And we're going to see the fallout from this, I think, even if Trump loses, this has to be a huge wake-up call to the media in Hollywood. One, the media called it all wrong. Almost all of them were wrong. It was like, they were like, oh, it's slam dunk. Biden's going to blow in and that's going to be it. That is not what happened. Two, it's all just a bunch of white supremacists when there's a lot of diverse people all over the place.
Right. It's just hillbillies.
A bunch of hillbillies.
Most of the country is rural. I mean, you have the select city areas, but you look at most of the states, they vote red. It's just because there are bigger cities in the blue states that they just go blue, because the majority of, area-wise, is people that are in the middle or they're more conservative. And, they're just because you tell them they have to vote that way doesn't mean they're going to. And they're not all hillbilly, uneducated morons either.
No, Pennsylvania is a very good example, living in PA. Why Pennsylvania, when it goes blue, if it goes blue, it's because of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Pretty much. And guess where all the money goes in the state? Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, mostly Philadelphia, which pisses a lot of people off in the state. And no one cares about us until an election comes and we're irrelevant. Then they promise the moon and they deliver nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't care which side it is. Same outcome.
So we had Donnie Cates, another comic book guy, basically just, we're going to console ourselves because we thought we had it. And I remember reading Twitter days up to the election, people are like, oh, it's ding dong, Trump's gone. It's, see ya, Trump. Everybody's going to vote you out because the entire country hate it. And the only people that like you, Donald Trump, are a bunch of, inbred white guys. The white male, the patriarchy. And it turns out that a lot of women, a lot of minorities, a lot of gay folks also cast that vote for Trump. So now Hollywood thinks like John Cusack here.
Remember when he was relevant?
Yeah, John.
I know you like John Cusack.
This kills me.
He hasn't been relevant for a long time, much like Hollywood.
Not personally, but his movies, I freaking love John Cusack. So to see him go batshit crazy on Twitter over this, it breaks my heart a little bit.
Well, here's the cool thing. People like John Cusack and all them, if Biden wins and they're going to push socialism, then they should be the first ones to open up their wallet and donate it all to the cause.
John Cusack, Mark Ruffalo, all those guys.
Right. They all need to open their wallet and just give it all to everybody else because that they believe that's how it should be.
But this is what we've been hearing for 4 years. Cusack took to Twitter yesterday. 4 hours to defeat the Yahtzees. Trump's a Yahtzee. We elected a Yahtzee. We're the cavalry. We must defeat him.
I'm sorry. When you think of Yahtzee behavior, it's usually discriminatory. It's usually burning things down. It's usually trying to control the narrative. It's trying to control opinion. It's trying to tighten your grip and make sure everybody has to agree with what you do, or you ostracize them or whatever else. When I'm looking at the bad behavior we've seen lately, there have been some people who have definitely behaved like Yahtzees, 100%. But it's not the people I keep accusing of behaving like Yahtzees. I'm not saying that Trump is or isn't a Yahtzee. What I'm saying is, by the behavior demonstrated by certain groups of people, they act more like the Yahtzees than the people they're screaming about.
This is just
so we're just turning people against them.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Like, I think the behavior of the media and celebrities and comic book artists and all these, your behavior has actually pushed people the other way.
Yes, 100%. I know people that it has. 100%, 200%. That's exactly what happened.
To go back to, I know a couple of weeks ago, we did a video about Sarah Silverman talking about cancel culture, and she said people go where they are accepted.
Yep.
Okay. Sometimes even if they go to groups that maybe aren't that great. Now, I'm not saying, what I'm saying is people are going to go where they're not being called names. And there are a lot of people who were, I know that were more left leaning that are now more right leaning because the right would take them, whereas the left wanted to cancel them, wanted to destroy their careers.
Wanted to call them names because they didn't like a cartoon, they didn't like a movie or something stupid like that. And for all speaking of cartoons, for all these cartoons that they keep putting out there that are like, oh my God, you can defeat evil with love and friendship. Then why the hell is it if someone doesn't agree with them, their go-to is to call you names, harass you, threaten you, label you insistence and bully the shit out of you? I thought that according to their way, it's love and friendship and hugs. No, it's love and friendship and hugs for those who agree and believe what they believe. Yeah. And that it sums up all the shit right now that's going on. And
it's only a matter of time until you get canceled too. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you have to constantly, the goalpost keeps moving. You have to constantly be on top of what is and what is not acceptable according to Twitter. But yeah, he's talking about the Trump death KKK.
Actually, there was one of the candidates that were associated with the KKK cult, and it wasn't Trump, ironically.
Anyway, but yeah, like, people, Twitter, celebrity, you pushed people the other way. You pushed. I can't believe that the blacks and Latinos, that all these white liberals have been speaking for all this time, they betrayed us.
Oh, you mean all us white people, liberals that are out there speaking for them and using them as shields? How dare they?
They betrayed us. How dare they? They're supposed to stand their way.
I'm a rich white woman, and I've been speaking for them. I've been doing that total diversity, writing room. It's all made of people like me speaking for them. And how could they turn on me? I gave them a voice at the table that was filtered through myself. But how very dare they?
How dare they? How dare they betray us? And look, I remember 2016 comic book artists in particular. They were keeping score of who voted for who, and they're like, we're saying right now we're going to blacklist you if you voted for Trump.
Yes, and I was like, since when is it okay? Well, I mean, this is basically like McCarthyism all over again. Since when is it okay that you have your jobs are based on who you voted for? And like I said before, you don't have to tell anybody who you voted for. That's not their business.
No, but they make it their business.
But most people that you're out there calling names might have voted the same way you did. A lot of people that you're calling names might have voted opposite you. But the point of the matter is, and the point of this whole video is, like we've been telling you, Hollywood, like we've been telling you, Twitter, like we've been telling you, media, the truth lies in the middle, as does most of the effing country.
Yeah, so
extremism's bullshit on both sides, and those people are in the middle, and you're all full of shit.
So we'll see if Hollywood learns any lessons. I doubt they will. They never seem to. But guys, you don't really understand where the country is.
I'm just hoping in 2024 we get some decent candidates and we get people, and I mean, I don't like Trump that much. I really don't. But I don't think everything he's done is terrible. I don't think every choice he's made is bad just because of who he is. It's like I said, you can not like somebody, but when they're right, they're right. They are automatically wrong even when they're right just because you don't like them. That's not how it works. He's made every decision that's been good, and hell no. But what president has? And do I think that everything Biden's ever done is terrible? No. I don't. Do I think everything he does is great just because he's a Democrat? Hell no, I don't. Even though I lean left. Now I'm listed as independent because I got tired of both their shit. But it's just the way it is. You just got to look at it in an honest way and look at it in a realistic way, which I think most people did. Hollywood is the one, and Twitter and all these people are the ones who aren't looking at it realistically.
Yep, and they might pay for that.
Well, I hope so, because maybe they'll learn some lessons.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up?
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yep.